We're here with UIC head coach Mike Dee as the Flames prepare to take on Wright State and Valparaiso here coming up this weekend. Coach, just want to talk about having these back-to-back doubleheaders. You had it last weekend, you've got it coming up again this weekend. Is there anything differently that you do to prepare both in the days leading up to those games and how you handle it in game?
No, not really. You try and take each game one at a time, and I do think a key element is that you get a couple good starts, especially on the first day, so that you're not getting deep into your bullpen right away. But philosophically, especially this time of the year, they all count the same, and that's kind of the danger going into this weekend when you're playing, one day the team you're tied for first place with, and then the second day you're not playing somebody that's tied with you for first. That there's potential there that we don't play the same way on both days, and I don't think that we'll have an issue with that. But that's the only thing that concerns me about a 4-game weekend like this.
You talked about being tied with Wright State. You both got 18 wins heading into the final 2 weekends of conference play, and as it has it, you guys are playing them 5 times over this 8-game span. This is kind of a 2-part question. One, just talk a little bit about the rivalry that you guys have with Wright State. It seems like you're always battling each other near the top of the conference. And then also, what do you expect to see, particularly in these games coming up here on Friday at Granderson Stadium?
Well, they've had a great program for, a decade now, and it's been a really intense rivalry. I respect their program a great deal, and their head coach now, even though he's a first-year head coach, was a part of that as a player and then as an assistant and now as a head coach, and so there is continuity, and I think it's great that you got 2 teams that are tied for first place get to play each other 5 times here in the last 7 games, and I think we're looking forward to that challenge. I'd be surprised if they don't feel the same way. I think the rivalry is intense, but it's respectful, and we know they're a really good club, and they're very talented in a little bit different way than we are in some areas, but I think it's going to be a great matchup and a great test for us to see not only how we play, but how we deal with the pressure of that.
And then finally, the last question, it's going to be senior day here on Saturday, the last regular season home game at least, for 7 graduating seniors who are all really key contributors for this program for, from anywhere from 5 to 2 years. Just talk about how special this group has been, not only this year in particular, but over the course of their careers here at UIC.
Well, I think anytime you get to senior day, it's a really emotional experience for the players, but it's also an emotional experience for me. There's a moment there that you very quickly run through sort of the history of that player, more so as a person than as a player itself. And I don't think that there's a 4 or 5 year period in your lifetime where more growth occurs, hopefully, than from senior year in high school to your senior year at college. And so, it's bittersweet for me. I think it's bittersweet for them, but what I'm always struck with in that moment is how proud I am of how far those guys have come. And this group in particular have just done such a marvelous job this year of rebuilding the culture in our program from one that a year ago probably wasn't very good. In fact, it wasn't, and they committed to try to do things differently, and I think as soon as they made that commitment and started to lead with that in mind, it just radiated to the rest of the players in the program. So I'm much more grateful for that progress that they've shown and that commitment than anything they've done physically. But you also see the development for them as players, and some of those guys have put themselves in a position to finish up strong here and do some really special things as a group.